welcome back to anyone and communicate, can talk well to anyone else if they really learn the principles. They're very powerful. And right now, I want to take you to something that is very exciting to me. It is communicating with style. I believe in style. I believe it's extremely important. I've become emotional about speaking about style. It's a major, big topic to me, and it's going to help you a lot. Communicating with style. You know what style is? It's your body. Do you realize that's all it is? There is no style that I'm going to be talking about that's not your body. Your body, my body, is my tool. My body is not me. I live inside of this tool, and I use my body as my servant. And I discipline my body to deliver the content I have written down here to you. Look at this. This hand, and this hand, and this face, and these knees are showing I'm delivering it to you. My voice is saying delivering to you. This eyebrow went up a little bit. It's showing there's something going to be captivating about this. I remember as a kid, we had 6 kids in our family, and when one of us was doing something we weren't supposed to, I don't know how my mother did this. She could raise this eyebrow up 2 inches. You'd be sitting there eating, and if you were misbehaving, this eyebrow would move up here. And if you didn't see the eyebrow, you'd hear my father go like this. Guess what that is? That's style. Yeah, but it is. That's nonverbal style, and it's proven to be more powerful than verbal style. They've proven that the how you say what you say is more impacting to the people that you're trying to teach than what you say. So I want to talk about style. And if you remember, we talked about 5 systems, and there's only 5. There's not 6, there's not 4. There are 5 systems that exist in all teaching. Me getting ready, me, speaker to speaker, the speaker relationship to the subject, the speaker relationship to the student, and then I'm talking about this one right now, the speaker's relationship to his or her style. And the last one is the speaker's relationship to the spirit. Over the years ahead, I'm going to talk about each one of these and equip you with all of them so you know how to make a lesson that's a zinger that they will remember and that will affect them. We're going to talk a whole, probably 3 hours. How do you really partner with the Spirit? How does He want us to work with Him? He doesn't work with us the way we want Him to work. It's He works with us the way He wants to work with us. So you must find out what His protocols are. So we're talking now about your style. And I wrote on our notebook, look at this. Isn't this style? Look at him. That's my favorite right there. Wrong foot. Oh, sorry about that. So, delivering with style. It has to do with your body. Yeah, but no, wait. Hang in there. Each one of these sessions have one big idea that we build a whole kind of structure around it. What's the big idea here? It's all about your body. It's this part of my body. Sound. Is this part of my body? What happens when I misuse this part of the body? This part. Here's what it looks like. And so we're here to talk about something very important to you. And this very important issue is Yeah, but some people teach like that, or they teach over your head. I'm very glad to be here today and to talk to you and some other people who've been trained to look at the audience. Here's how they use their eyes. And so we're very glad that you are here today. And oh my, what is this? This is a tool. What's a tool? This is a tool. If you stay right here, you will bore your people. The wider you use your arms and your hands, the more powerful you become. When you reach up, it's a powerful act. If you, oh man, I was brought so low at that, powerful. If I come out to you, that's this. That's using my body to grab you and bring you in. Or I was drifting back further and further. I had got so angry with God that I wanted no part with him. I don't want to go to church again. I don't want to trip on these lights again. Yeah, but what am I doing? I'm using the platform. I'm alienating myself from you. That's not my hands. My hands led to my movement. I use my legs to go into the shadows to get further from you, because I'm talking about rejecting God and getting away from God, so I go to a place that's away from you. All that is because of my body, right? So, one of my professors, this isn't in the course, one of my professors at graduate schools was a scholar beyond scholars. He used to lecture on us, and we would ask him a question. He would say, volume 2 of this series, page 268, on the left-hand page, a third of the way down, second sentence. And he would quote this, and I was in his class, and I said to myself, no way, he's pulling my leg. So I went right over the library, I found volume 3, I looked up page 2, and doggone it, he quoted it. So I was impressed with him. I couldn't understand what he talked about, but I was impressed with him. And he came and he delivered this really amazing sermon when I was a freshman, trying to learn how to be halfway interesting, about a psalm and how it was all structured. And he would use this hand as a gesture when he was speaking about something captivating. He would say, and as I dealt with this and my mind just exploded, I realized the essence of truth was right here. And I thought to myself, wow, look at that. And so I wrote out his sermon hand by hand. And I practiced in the mirror. So my wife didn't know about this. And as a freshman in graduate school, on a board, was a card that says, the pastor's sick. Is there anybody that can possibly preach for him? And I took it down and said, yes, I can finally try this. So I had 16 pages of yellow paper, handwritten. I was going to read it. I couldn't wait to get to this part. So I'm reading all this big words and all this stuff, and I was reading it. And I happened to look up, and oh, the bodies were screaming, what are you talking about? And so I skipped over a couple pages till I could get to the power move. And I got to the place, and I just had perfected it. And then I needed some support, so I looked at my wife, right over there. I looked at her after I did this, wanting her to smile, and she went, so after the service, it was so bad. Oh, and I didn't know what else to talk about. I didn't have anything else to talk about. I had to read all the rest of this terrible sermon. My coat was wet on the back from sweating. And I got in the car and I said to Darlene, well, one thing's for sure, I'm not called to preach. I'm quitting. And she said, where did you get that sermon? I said, well, I copied it from Dr. Walkie. You did. Can I make a suggestion? I said, sure. Don't ever preach anybody's stuff ever again. And what on earth is this? Well, let's talk about this. What is the style? Number one, style is the process by which the teacher delivers the subject to the students. That's style. It's you delivering to your students. Principle number two. Style is the primary cause of student excitement or boredom. Do you realize that? If you were to take your relationship with your students or your content or your style, do you understand style is where boredom occurs? That's where it happens. That's the number one complaint of students. My teacher is so boring. I want to ask you a question as we get into this. Out of, 10 teachers that you had in college or in high school, let's go high school for a minute. 10 teachers you had in high school, how many of them were boring? How many? If there was 10 of them, how many of them were boring? I want you to vote a minute. Somebody said 15. There were 10 teachers that you had in high school. How many of them were boring? How many say one of them were boring, 2 of them were boring, 3 of them were boring, 4 of them were boring? We're voting now, right? Okay. 5 of them were boring, 6 of them were boring. Whoa. 7 were boring, 8 were boring. Oh, there's a lot. 9 were boring, 10 were boring. The answer is, it's about right here. 80%, listen to what you just voted. It's the same in America. 80% of all the teachers we had were boring. Whose fault was that? It was the teachers. What happens to learning in the students when they're bored? When you're bored, how much do you learn? If you then have bought into Law 1, that I am responsible to cause learning in my students, the one thing you need to be scared to death about ever doing is boring. Now, I want to show you this. Let's say there are twin sisters, twins. They're identically the same, and they teach at 2 different high schools in the city, and one of them has taken this course and learned about not being boring and style, but the other one is really boring. They teach the exact same curriculum to 30 students each, and at the end of the semester, okay, the boring teacher gives exams, and the dynamic teacher, the twin sister, they're all the same IQ, same school, same degrees, same curriculum, and same students. What would be the difference between the grades of a boring teacher versus a dynamic teacher? What do you think? What grade would this teacher's students have? Low. Let's give them a grade for a minute. How many say they get an A, B, C, oh boy, D, F? Oh, it's between a D and an F. Okay, hold on to this. I'm trying to nail this really close so you will never again selfishly use your body. That's what boredom is. The teacher selfishly uses their body. Boredom is from selfishness. What would her twin sister get? A, B, C, D, or F? How many say A? Woo! How many say B? How many say C? D, or F? The answer is probably right here, a B plus or A minus. I want you to let this settle in. The difference of the student learning because of my delivery is radically changed because how I used my body. let me ask it a little deeper now. For those of us who are content-oriented, subject-oriented, you're scholarly, let's say that this person had a so-so outline. The outline, the content was so-so. And this person had an excellent outline. Would the change of the grade be as significant as boring or dynamic? Let's say they're both boring. I need to restate this for a minute. Excuse me. Let's say we're changing the topic a little bit, and this is a boring teacher, and her twin sister is also boring. And we're identifying if we change the content, and the content here was poor, and the content here was excellent, would the grades change as dramatically as this changed? It doesn't, not at all. We've tested this. Okay, let's say the students didn't like this teacher, and the students really loved this teacher. Would the grades be this different? Most teachers that the students like are still boring. Is this true or false? This is true. I was at a major convention with thousands of pastors once, and we had a very well-known speaker who was rather boring, and then we had brought in a very talented actor. And that actor came in and captivated us for an hour. I mean, it was overwhelmingly powerful. And those of us who are speakers went to lunch together with the actor and with the other person. And we were just sitting there thinking about this, talking about this, and somebody said to the actor, how come you affected us so deeply in comparison to the rest of us? And he thought for a minute, and he says, well, you take the truth and deliver it as if it's fiction. I take fiction and I deliver it as if it was truth. So one of the universities in America wanted to find out the power of delivery. So they had a good teacher, and then they hired an actress who memorized the outline, the talk that teacher gave, but had a different section of students. So this teacher didn't go, as she typically would, to give this talk to this group. She gave it here, the actor had memorized it, and the next day when section 2 came, the actor came, and she didn't even know the content. She had memorized the talk, but she wasn't a professional in this material. She delivered it. They then gave tests to the students. The tests here were 3 times higher than this time. Yeah, but what are you hearing? What are you hearing? The power of your delivery is the most powerful thing you have to cause them to learn. And your delivery has to do all with your body and how you use your body. Because this is your content, they're your class, and you're the person in the middle. So, number 3 is what I've been talking about. Style affects student learning more than any other action of the teacher. Principle number 4, style is the responsibility of the teacher and is within the teacher's complete control. What do I mean by that? This is a part that most people don't deal with. We said 8 out of all 10 teachers, and it's not just teachers, it's preachers. It's whoever stands in front of another group of people and communicates. Nobody plans on being boring. Nobody wants to be boring. Is boring here or is boring there? Boring occurs inside the student. Who caused you to be bored? I did. I caused you to be bored. So when you think about this, that means 80% of all the people who communicate haven't really come to the grips that I can change this anyway, anytime I want. Because it's my body. And if I see your body language is getting bored, because you'll scream to me, you'll start doing this, you'll start doing this, you'll start scribbling on your pad, you'll start talking, you'll start texting. You'll yell at me. You're boring me. What do I have to do? I could change my voice instantly, and at that moment, the 3 people that were asleep will have woken up. I can use my body, or I can really move across. I could do anything that I want. I can take money and just throw it in the air. And what will happen is everybody in the class will start picking up those 100 Rand bills. Yeah, but wait, what am I trying to show you? I'm trying to be funny a little bit because it's so sad. It's what's so sad? Almost all school is so boring. And it's a teacher's fault because they don't understand I'm in control of boredom. And if I'm boring, it's my fault, and I can change it tomorrow with my body. And I'm going to teach all about that after break. I'm going to give you secrets about every part of your body. And this is the first audience I've ever seen that didn't jump for the money on the floor. I don't know what's matter, because I'm not taking the money back. It's your money now. Whoa, she's saying if I'd have known that, I'd have pushed her away. Wait. What was that? That was a mental break. I've never done that before, ever. I've never thrown my money to you, ever before. What was I trying to think of? I was trying to think, give them another illustration that I'm in control and that I can grab everybody's interest at any time I want. Any time I want. Yeah, but wait, what did I just do? Nothing. I did nothing. I took up my cell phone and what did I do? I just proved to you I got all of your attention by the use of my body doing absolutely nothing. Yeah, but wait. Come on. If you have in your head, it's hard not to be boring, come on. Come on. Do you know when I learned about this? Because I used to be very boring. That's the natural thing that happens to all of us. And when I realized it was one day, I don't remember how this happened, but I came to understand my style was based upon my body, that I had control of my body, the students didn't, I did, and that teachers who are boring always talk in this range, right here. And so I'm glad to have you here. It's going to be a very exciting time, and I'm looking forward to sharing the lessons that we are here to talk about. And boring people will always stand behind this place right here. And boring people will always do gestures in this box right here. And boring teachers won't get past this point right here because they're not really comfortable. And that I was in charge of my voice. And if boring teachers have a voice like this, I can have a voice that's all over the place because it's my voice, it's not your voice. And as I was meditating on this, to learn this, because people didn't teach me this, I realized I have been so selfish with my body. My body doesn't feel like working so hard. This is the end of the 3rd day of intense training, and I want to sit down over there and go have a cup of coffee and put my feet up and relax. And just rest. But what does that do to your learning? It messes you up. So what do I do to my body? I said, that's for tomorrow morning. Right now, give 110% of you to your students because you love them, you want to serve them, and my body is not important, and its emotions and tiredness is irrelevant to you, and it can wait. So when I learned that, the essence of it boiled down to either I am a selfish teacher or I'm a servant teacher. And if I'm a servant teacher, never will I permit my class to feel class today was boring. Now, will you? Because you don't have to do this. You may be here. You may not think you're here, but if we got your students together and said, they may put you here. So the issue that we're trying to deal with is, it's more than any other action affects learning. Therefore, colleges and seminaries, which are well known for boring classes, not because the content isn't brilliant, it usually is. It's not because the teachers don't love the students, they do. Well, what's the problem? Academicians typically underestimate the importance of delivery. That's how it happens. And pastors often underestimate this. Don't underestimate it again.